As always, a huge thank you to my channel members who are continuing to support this channel. If you wish to join, there is a link in the description. Thank you very much. The Sarah Jane Smith Adventures was the second Doctor Who spin-off to be created by Russell the Tank Engine. The show follows former companion Sarah Jane Smith living her life as a journalist, coming across a whole lot of aliens who love Ealing for some reason. Sarah is joined by her adopted test tube baby son Luke and his two best friends Bonnie and Clyde. Wow. They all get together after school to hunt big spooky scary aliens. You know, when the Doctor's not about. And it's safe to say that this show was loved by both peasants and Doctor Who fans alike. It appears that the Sarah Jane Adventures was a way to introduce fan favourite Elisabeth Sladen to a new generation. And as you know, within the last year it was made available on BBC iPlayer. And now that I've finished rambling on about Doctor Who, it's time to revisit the Sarah Jane Adventures after 16 years. Lord help me, 16 years. Oh God, I'm getting older. The coffin's coming, man. You know the drill, boys and girls. I have a tier list ranking from perfect all the way to god-awful. I'll be watching every single episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures and putting them in my tasty little tier list. Yum yum. Now guys, I'm going to be coming at this show a little bit differently. I just realised how strange that sounds. I'm not going to be as critical as I would be of Doctor Who. Oh, the cinematography here shows that Sarah Jane is lacking in power. Blah, blah, blah. This is a kids show, alright? And I'm aware it's going to have a significant amount of restrictions. These will be based more on enjoyability and impact, and obviously whether or not the writing does make sense. So the writing does have a part to play, but I won't be dismantling it like I would be with Doctor Who, alright? But I will be making jokes about it, alright? Remember, jokes. So get yourselves a pack of Skittles and some Prime. Stick on Call of Duty to camo grind or The Sims 4, whatever it is you're doing.
Nothing to do, like, because I don't know how to get him to stop doing this shit.
And have me on in the background whilst I rank every single episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures. New Year's Day 2007. The world has just witnessed David Tennant drown a fat fuck-off spider and are now ready to see some new instalments into the Doctor Who universe. Or Who-niverse. Ugh. Russell T Davies penned the Sarah Jane Adventures pilot Invasion of the Bane, which was to air on New Year's Day. We start the episode with probably one of the sickest transitions you've ever seen. This is where we then meet Maria, a schoolgirl whose parents are going through a divorce.
Don't go through the front, go around the side, I did say. Mind you, not bad. Mum.
Oh, yeah, that's really good for a kid's show, isn't it? Nice, that's really great. However, Maria's life is about to take a turn when ominous purple light swipes past her window. We do then get this beautiful soundtrack as Maria goes to investigate. Now listen, Sarah Jane, right, if you're so secretive and private about your little alien investigations, why the fuck are you doing this on your driveway?
How would you know if you were going mad?
Ask your mother, she's the expert.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
Straight out of the door, I will say the dialogue in this show is really, really good. It harps back to one of the reasons I love the Russell T Davies era. I feel like these are actual people having a conversation. We then meet Kelsey, a neighbour who just knocks on Maria's door. Honestly, if I had the confidence this child had, I'd be a lot further along in life, genuinely.
You haven't got music channels. You'll be dead in school if you haven't got music channels.
Honestly, guys, this was so me. I got beaten every day in the canteen because I couldn't watch the MTV Top 40, man. So to give you a quick rundown, guys, there's this new drink around town. It's called Bubble Shock. But yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's some shady alien business. We get our first glimpse of Susan Jane as she pulls into her driveway, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, she's kind of a bitch.
We just moved in opposite on Maria Jackson.
Hello. Hi. Alan Jackson.
This is my worst nightmare, and in defense of Sarah Jane, I'd be the same. However, Sarah, I thought you were supposed to be nice. Why are you acting a bit cold for?
Hello, Mrs. Lady. We were living across the hallway.
Gross. Damn, Sarah tried to kill him as well. So Maria and Kelsey get picked up by the Bubble Nonce wagon and taken to the factory where we meet internet safety creep.
Oh, poor thing. She looks so distressed. She shouldn't be. I told her no harm will come to her as long as she does what I say. And so far, she's obliged.
We then meet Mrs. Wormwood, who's creating a boy in her basement.
He's almost fully mature. I would even say perfect.
Sarah breaks in and there's this intense showdown between her and Mrs. Wormwood.
Drink bubble shock, Miss Smith.
Mrs. Wormwood?
I'd rather die.
Damn, Sarah, that's cold. So there's like one rule in this factory, and that's don't use your mobile phone.
Hiya, Suki.
Oh, for God's sake, Kelsey, you're literally one job. It is impressive, though, how one Nokia 3300 can just bring down an entire factory, despite everyone in the factory using these Bluetooth headsets. We do, however, get some of those classic Russell T Davies point of view shots. It does use the same sound effect as the Krillitane. Yeah, you can't get past me, Russell, mate. That sound is ingrained in my memory, mate.
Sarah Jane Smith.
Damn, it's so cheesy. It's unbelievably cheesy. Oh my God, Luke has woken up and it's literally going tits up right now.
What is happening in here?
The gang somehow escape through this window. How?
And she worshipped something called the Holy Oak. No, Hollyoaks.
The comedy in this episode is genuinely top notch. I love it. And then MSN Nonce Man goes to Sarah's house. We get loads more of those POV shots. Some pretty terrible CGI. God, it looks awful.
Hello, Maria. Hello, screaming girl.
I tell you, the dialogue in this has been actually magnificent. He's going to rip the front of your door off. Oh man, the POV shots. Damn, Sarah got the 4 stories. How many flights of stairs does Sarah Jane have?
This is so not happening.
That contradicts the facts.
Yeah, you ageist piece of shit. Oh no, he came. Sorry, that's really inappropriate. It's then revealed that Sarah Jane has an extra spooky alien attic where we get to see where she works. She then starts explaining her relationship with the Doctor and her time travelling with him. It's just a lovely little scene. And then we get to see K9! What? Epic! And then to top it off, Sarah Jane absolutely flexes on us with this absolutely epic gaming rig. So they basically discover that all of these bottles of Prime basically have living aliens in. And then everyone just turns into a zombie.
Drink it.
So Sarah and friends decide to just ram their way back into the factory. Insert loads of numbers to defeat the Bane, and then they escape. And then this is where we get some of the most brilliant top-tier Indian soap opera editing.
Until the next time, Miss Smith.
So guys, how does this episode end? Well, they blow up the damn factory, of course! Yeah! Russell T Davies explosions! There is this really beautiful scene at the end of the episode where Sarah agrees to adopt Luke and she gives a life lesson about growing up and how adults don't really know themselves where they're going to end up. It's just really sweet. What can I say though, guys? Damn, what a start. An episode with truly great dialogue and some absolutely fantastic comedy. The characters are really well fleshed out, and whilst the resolution is very typical RTD and the CGI has aged poorly and the pure cheese of this episode is stinking up the place, this is truly a great start to a brand new kids series in the Doctor Who universe. Guys, we're starting off strong. I'm going to put this episode in great. Now guys, it's September 2007 and we finally get the official start of Sarah Jane Adventures Series 1, starting off with Revenge of the Slaven, Part 1. Wow, Maria and her dad are so close. Look at them painting their new house. Maria is of course in high spirits with her new alien investigating lifestyle, and it's the first day of the school year, and it's Luke's first school day ever. But guess what? There's new management.
That's a bit flashy.
It's a brand new building.
I mean... Look at this epic new school extension. Yeah, that's not aged well at all. The episode kicks straight off when the new head teacher game ends some poor member of staff.
And study hard, because I guarantee none of you are going to be pop stars.
Wow, honestly, we need more teachers like this, instead of them telling everyone they can be the next TikTok celebrity. Ice cream so good, ice cream so good. We also meet Clyde, the bad boy class clown, who is basically the audience surrogate in this episode, but he finds the gang bare cringe.
Probably hang around with you till I meet some cooler people. How do you do? I'm Luke Smith.
Stuff gets even more strangerer when they discover the mouldy food.
How am I meant to eat that?
Just pick the bad bits off.
Honestly, guys, this teacher is based. Mate, it's a cost of living crisis, mate. You got to do what you got to do, you know what I mean?
What about the caretaker? I've taken care of the caretaker.
I genuinely don't know why, but this line just gets me every single time. So it turns out the Slavenes want to drain the power from the world and turn off the sun. So they've built all of these generators in these schools. For some reason. The one thing I really do like about this episode is that it takes time to focus on Luke's social mistakes, where Sarah Jane teaches him that, you know what, no one gets it right, and everyone is unique. Honestly, lovely little message to send out to the kids. As well as this, Maria's mum is back, showing the dynamic of a mum that just really doesn't show any consideration for her daughter whatsoever.
I think it went okay for her today.
What went okay for today?
Her first day at the new school.
That was today.
However, I do like that they portray her in a more comedic light than a serious one.
Give them to me. No, I'll do it.
Genuinely, the best dialogue in this show comes from scenes involving Maria's mum. So, the Slavenes' generator fails, and they need to find a solution.
One more step, and we destroy this planet.
God, it's so cheesy. And this man, by the way, puts in one hell of a shift. I love it. So they hold a lunchtime science club so that they can see if someone can find the solution. And of course, it's Luke that turns up. Him being a big scientific genius, he accidentally reveals the solution to the problem.
All your problems are over.
Yes, all of my problems are. I don't know about yours, though.
The whole gang decide to investigate the school because of all of the weird things that's been going on. And that's when things start to go a little bit pear-shaped, mate.
She really shouldn't be hanging around school after home time.
Oh, crumbs. The build-up to the cliffhanger is so Russell T Davies, it's great. Luke finds a secret generator room. We've got Sarah Jane meeting Big Janine. Maria stuck over here with little creepy Colin.
Slaven!
Oh, welcome back, boys. Welcome back. It all kicks off. They're all running, and just when you think, oh shit, they're all dead. Now, there's another twist to the tale, mate.
Is there a way out through here?
No, there's no way out.
I am a child of the Slaven, and this is my hunt.
Shit the bed. I'll tell you something, right? I remember during this time, the child Slaven was being advertised, right? And that had a whole lot of Doctor Who fans seriously excited. And I am someone who is very much against all of the Slaven hate, honestly. Why do they get hate so much? Because he farted and it's so childish. I don't like it when aliens fart in children's television show. But I think they are the perfect Doctor Who monster to scare children. My sister is a living example of that. But what a great cliffhanger to end this episode on. There's some surprisingly deep moments focusing on Alan's divorce, Luke struggling in social situations, Sarah Jane never finding the time to marry. Some really character-defining moments in this. I just feel like you wouldn't really get that in a kids' show today, and sometimes you don't even get it in bloody current Doctor Who. It is genuinely something that the Russell T Davies 1 era has over every other era, in that it just feels real. It feels like this genuinely could be happening in your world. Stephen Moffat's era was very fairy tale-esque. The Chibnall era was It was definitely an era. And Russell T Davies 2 is very like mythical and gods. RTD1 is the most raw, relatable and believable era of the Doctor Who universe in my opinion. It's why I strongly believe the show started to see a decline in the mid-2010s. This episode is super cheesy, right? This guy was great. A great cliffhanger, some wonderful comedic moments, some wonderful character moments. It's very difficult to pick out any issues with this episode, and I think in terms of a gripping, dramatic and funny kids TV show, I think this is the perfect episode. I know some of you are probably thinking, what? But I do, right? So I am putting this episode in perfect. Revenge of the Slaven, Part 2. Yeah, so the episode starts by making the Slavens look pretty pathetic, actually. These are huge green aliens with giant claws, a great sense of smell, and the ability to run like a gorilla. Yet in this episode, they look hella goofy, just running about, honestly. And they just get defeated with like deodorant and perfume. So Sarah saves the gang and they all escape.
Thus the Senate, the Blatherine and the Hostrazine will beg for mercy at my feet!
Yeah, he is truly the best part of these episodes.
Right, what's going on in here? And no one's telling me what's going on.
Just shut up for the minute, will you? I'm busy. And right now, you're not important.
Damn, Sarah J. Honestly, she can be a right bitch. It's not very nice to say to a child. Mr. Smith reveals that all of these buildings have been placed across the world where they will use their generators to turn off the power to the sun. One thing I really rate about this show is the group gradually coming up with a plan together. So countries start losing power one by one. And by the way, I know this is a kids show, right? So they can't really go into this, but this is seriously dark, right? Everything loses power, meaning aeroplanes have fallen from the sky, cars have just stopped working, probably resulting in millions of crashes and no doubt casualties. Hospitals and life support machines have lost power. This is genuinely cataclysmic. The world has gone into complete darkness. Millions upon millions of people are dead right now. The way the gang find out that vinegar is what Slavens hate as well is truly great. It all makes perfect sense. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. Fucking, what do I keep saying that for? There's no shortcuts. I absolutely love it.
Well, what was in your lunch?
Cold chip sandwich.
No, Sladen in the office, she was eating a sandwich. What was on those chips?
Just salt and vinegar. No, they put extra salt in everything. Bread, butter. It's got to be something else. It's got to be the vinegar.
So the Slavens activate the generator, right, and the sun starts going out. So the gang head back to the school. Maria and Clyde just commit murder.
That's why we win!
The gang very easily get themselves captured. However, it's Luke learning how to bluff that helps save the day.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, why was that needed? Why was that needed? And of course, because this was during the Russell T Davies era, there's of course a threat that the whole thing's going to blow up. But we get this seriously dark ending where they plead for Sarah to save their child.
I'm only 12.
He's my son.
So Sarah does and lets all of the others die. Jesus. This episode does, however, have a really sweet ending in which Clyde convinces Sarah to allow Luke to call her mum, further progressing their relationship as Sarah begins to embrace motherhood.
He's gone back to calling you Sarah Jane. It should be Mum.
You think?
How lovely is that? I love it. This episode is definitely not as good as the first part. However, it does focus on some pretty dark moral dilemmas. The Slavens did look pretty pathetic in this episode. They are apparent predators, but seem pretty inept of actually doing any damage whatsoever. And again, this episode does sort of kind of brush past the severity of the Slavens' plan. But all in all, it focuses on Luke adapting to social norms and how his uniqueness is what continues to save them. Sarah embracing motherhood after spending her life getting over her time with the Doctor and missing out on life's normalities. It's all very, very sweet. But guys, I'll be putting this episode in good. Eye of the Gorgon, Part 1. We're at an old people's home where this woman gets spooked by a little ghost nun.
The nun! Help me! She's here!
Which, by the way, this makes no sense because these nuns have no reason to just be standing here watching these old people sleep, and they are not ghosts. Sarah, Clyde and Luke are going to investigate after they hear stories about these roaming nuns. Maria's mum has decided she's going to move back in because one of her boyfriends don't like her or something. So this episode does continue to focus on the broken home dynamic and how Maria's mum doesn't know anything about her own daughter due to her absence. Luke meets old woman with Alzheimer's who's very intriguing. It appears she's met Doctor Who aliens before.
Oh, don't be afraid. It's all right. I've seen unusual people before.
Long story short, the nuns are looking for a talisman so that they can bring the Gorgons through the portal to take over the planet of Earth. And it turns out this old lady's just hiding it in a tree, outside, in the open. I really love that throughout this series there's this ongoing joke where Maria's mum absolutely hates Sarah Jane and is convinced that there's something not quite right about her. However, we do see our first bit of conflict when Maria's mum pushes it a bit too far and Maria snaps.
Yeah? How come you walked out on me then?
Maria?
Get out! Get out!
Mr. Smith snitches on Luke.
Are you aware that Luke has brought an unidentified element of alien technology into the attic?
So Sarah and Maria decide to go back to the old people's home to interrogate Alzheimer's lady. We then get the reveal of the woman who seriously lacks any sort of grooming skills. Honestly, love, how do you wipe? But hey, at least you can turn people into stone. That's pretty epic. The sequence in which Sarah is talking to the Alzheimer's lady is really, really lovely. When she mentions the Sontarans, Sarah Jane's reaction is just perfect.
The Sontarans were the silliest looking race in the galaxy. Like a huge potato. Quite nasty blighters they were, all the same.
Oh, yes, Bee, they are, you're right.
You can imagine the sense of elation when Sarah has been stuck back on Earth for so long and has had no one to relate to. Her emotional response to this is just perfection. So one of the nuns turns up at Sarah's house where we get more of that impeccable comedy.
Give me the talisman.
Hello, sister. Collection, is it?
Why are they driving around in a hearse? Do nuns typically drive around in hearses? So Luke and Clyde decide to go and investigate the abbey. Not before they're stopped by the Nancy nuns and Luke gets kidnapped.
I can help you.
No way!
Honestly, Luke, it's kind of like you wanted to be kidnapped. You really didn't put up much of a fight. Okay, that's not cool of me, guys. I'm literally victim blaming here. I'm sorry. But once Sarah finds out about the kidnapping, oh no, she heads down to the abbey to confront them, where she comes to an agreement. She'll give the nun the talisman as long as they let Luke go. But of course, Sarah's going to try and absolutely prank him, which completely backfires.
Doors open.
He gets turned into a weeping angel. No. So, this episode is definitely not the best of the series. It's a lot more slow paced than the previous episodes. Luke and Clyde just seem to continuously get themselves in trouble without any sort of actual plan. The scenes that focus on Maria's family were really great, and we see some really tender moments from Sarah Jane. This episode is of course stacked with all of that delicious cheese, but in terms of enjoyability, I don't think it's an episode you need to see more than once really, so I'm going to be putting this episode in okay. Eye of the Gorgon Part 2. Oh snap, Maria's dad is made of stone. The nuns have the talisman. Whatever is the gang going to do? Well, Luke and Clyde are back at the abbey just chilling, and of course Luke just finds an escape room, just by chance. How convenient is that? Mr. Smith confirms that Maria's dad is going through a transition, Slay Queen. But it can be reversed somehow. Wowee! The only person who knows how to do this, though, is Alzheimer's lady. Well, of course, that doesn't go as easily as you expect.
B.
Fortnite.
Garden gnomes like everyone else. It's killed all...
Look at that.
Well, she wasn't straight with you, Luke. And this goes way beyond the Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. Call of Duty. It's been a long day. Now on to my favourite scene in this series so far. Maria's mum finds the statue of Alan in Sarah's living room.
Mum's obsessed. She really is a bunny boiler, this one. Couldn't have the real thing, so she's made herself a statue.
Honestly, the comedy in this show is absolutely fantastic. The nuns open this portal to the other world, and oh no, Luke's about to be turned to stone. It's okay though, guys. He just walks off. He just leaves. Seriously, where are all of these nuns spawning from, man? I'll tell you something, right? This gang gets so easily captured. How did these nuns manhandle them into the basement? But finally, Bee remembers how to stop the Gorgon.
Blind mirror. No, not for me. What do you think I'm going to do? Powder my nose while you take on that monster? It's for you.
Fuck's sake, Maria, go on, wake up. The nuns decide that they want Sarah to be the new Gorgon leader, or something.
You can do what you want to me, but this planet will never bow down to that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Sarah, you thought you really ate with that one, didn't you? Luke and Clyde break free. Sarah's about to be sucked off, but wait, Maria comes in and uses her magical mirror to turn the Gorgon into stone, and the day is saved. Hooray! They manage to turn Maria's dad back into little human boy, and then they all gaslight Maria's mum into thinking she's mental.
It was right here, bold as you like, a statue of my Alan.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
To top it off, this episode ends with a really beautiful scene where Sarah and Maria try to cure Bee's Alzheimer's, which of course doesn't work, but her remembering her late husband is a really beautiful moment.
He's been gone for so long, and I've always been scared to wear this round my neck. And he kissed me for the first time.
It's a kid's show, man. Shut the fuck up.
I will always love you, B.
Thank you for bringing him back to me.
So, this episode has a lovely little ending. The comedy in these episodes so far has been top tier. I feel like Clyde was really pointless in this episode, and Luke was only really in this so that he could get captured multiple times. I didn't feel like we saw the Gorgon enough in this story, but I suppose it filled its purpose. But I do actually think this episode is better than the first part, so I'm going to put this episode in good. Warriors of Kudlac Part 1. So there's this new laser tag venue in town, and this episode is all about abducting kids. Yeah, this is a Minecraft YouTuber's favourite kind of episode. Like this kid Lance, who gets kidnapped by scary fly man, Mr. Kudlac.
Just bring me children.
It's going to be very difficult to refrain from using Predator jokes throughout this. I'm going to try my best. Well, hey, at least the prosthetics look very decent for Mr. Flyboy here. We meet Grantham, Mr. Kudlac's number 2. His sole job is to recruit the kiddies to be taken. Sarah decides to investigate all of these missing kids, so she goes to interrogate Lance's friend.
I want to ask you some questions about Lance.
What? I'm busy playing a video game without even looking at the screen.
It's explained that whenever these kids go missing, there's these strange 2-minute thunderstorms. It's also documented that these children tend to go missing shortly after visiting a Combat 3000. Surely detectives have picked up on this? And surely this also means that there's more than one Grantham out there who's helping. Jesus Christ, there's a whole ring of these dudes, yeah? Is this social commentary, guys? So Sarah decides to make this thing, I don't know, to make it rain golden jelly beans? Or something, I don't know, just to prove that these kids are being teleported away. In the meantime, Clyde tries to cheer up failed comedian Luke by taking him to Combat 3000. He's taking him to go laser tag.
Welcome to the unique gaming experience, Combat 3000. Zap those drones.
Man, this show is so funny. I love it. So while them two are busy playing old laser tag, Sarah and Maria break into Grandham's office to find evidence of these missing kids. But oh heck no!
Perhaps I can help. Who are you and what are you doing in my office?
Sarah Jane Smith, journalist.
To be fair, Sarah, you are breaking the law here.
They come for the guns.
What? They come for the guns? Yeah, they come for the guns. Yeah.
Let me tell you about conscience. A conscience is like a stone in your shoe. You cannot begin to imagine the relief once you get rid of it.
That was a bar. Don't worry, guys, it's all good. Sarah gets out of it by flirting.
Bit of Lippy. Last request.
Oh god, guys, Clyde and Luke are just so good at laser tag. They make it to the abduction chamber, and then they get abducted too.
Be proud of them.
Oh shit. Damn. What a cliffhanger that was, guys. Jesus. I gave you a very quick rundown, right? And I'll be honest, this episode doesn't do much for me. Not nearly as much as I remembered as a kid. Sure, the prosthetics of Mr. Kudlac are heckin' epic. Grantham is funny, despite being a child snatcher. There's some great comedic moments. And it does leave us eager to find out what happens next. Story-wise, it's lacking compared to earlier episodes. It's a bit cringe at times. Mr. Kudlac is a bit over the top. And one of my criticisms of this series as a whole is I really don't get how the actions of some of these villains get so downplayed. How are the police not at all involved in this? So many children are going missing. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to be putting this episode in okay. Well, now it's time for Warriors of Kudlac Part 2. Yeah, don't worry, guys. Sarah escapes from Mr. Kudlac by just pushing him. Yep, she's been held at gunpoint, but it's okay, she just pushes him. Then just to top it off, we get some of that beautiful Chris Chibnall level aiming. Luke and Clyde, however, have been sent to space and been put into a crate to be shipped off. They literally get given a bucket to piss in. Damn guys, Sarah Jane Adventures is so woke, forcing your subliminal messaging of human trafficking down our throats. Not my Sarah Jane. Mr. Smith is able to determine what species Mr. Kudlac is with one of the vaguest descriptions I've ever seen.
Humanoid, brownish face,
Kind of slimy.
white cheekbones. Yes, I think that's it.
And Luke manages to escape from the crate with this convenient Allen key that was just lying around. Well, thank God for that. They then go on to find the other kids who have also been snatched, who also don't seem to be at all alarmed about what's going on. Grantham is back again to game end Sarah. But don't worry guys, it's all cool because Maria just tases him.
No, Mr. Grantham, I think you're the one that's done with.
Sarah, please stop, right? You are leaving all of the crumbs, my queen. Yeah, this story is incredibly repetitive, right? Sarah and Maria being held at gunpoint. The kids just escaping and running around the ship until they get caught by Mr. Kudlac. It happens like 6 times throughout this story. So we learn that the kids are being sent to the front lines to fight this alien war because they're so good at laser tag. But how do these kids escape? Clever Clogs Luke attaches this 2006 Samsung phone into the ship and just gains access to the entire database. Now listen, I get that Luke is like a super intelligent boy, but this is one hell of a reach for some plot convenience. Jesus, I am not allowing this one. Grantham agrees to send Sarah and Maria to the spaceship where they can confront Mr. Kudlac. But what is the epic climax to this story, guys? Well, we learn that the war actually ended years ago, and the ship's computer has been convincing Mr. Kudlac it's still going. Pesky artificial intelligence! So all of this has been for absolutely nothing. Sarah and Maria then convince Mr. Kudlac that, hey, war is just a result of angry men and not innocent children. God, this show is so woke. I'm going to make an entire YouTube channel to cry about it now. So Mr. Kudlac then grovels. He reveals that he has sent hundreds, if not thousands of kids to the front lines, and they're all lost in space. But maybe he can help find the ones who haven't died? And then Sarah just forgives all of his actions. What? This thing has abducted so many children and ruined so many lives, and Sarah is just like, bloody hell, old Kudlac, I surely hope you can find them and send them home, good buddy. Well, good luck with that. No. Think of the parents, man. Well, they all return back to Earth. Oh, happy days. The day's saved, or whatever. It gets worse. We then learn that Grantham has just run off, and Sarah is like, oh, he'll get what's coming to him.
You'll get what's coming to him. Eventually.
No, Sarah. Grantham was involved in the mass abduction of children, some of which are lost in space, some of which are dead. Get this man in prison. Oh, this is outrageous. Okay, is it a terrible episode? No, it's not. But serious technobabble plot convenience with Luke just being able to access an entire spaceship, the drastic consequences of Mr. Kudlac being brushed aside because he was proved wrong is insane. Mr. Grantham, the mass kidnapper, just getting away scot-free with some seriously horrendous crimes is just outrageous. But don't worry, guys, it's not about those pesky, irrelevant children because our important characters were saved. Yay! No. I disagree with this episode, okay? I'm putting it in stinky. Well, we can't be having any stinkers here, right? We need something to lift this series back up, I think. And boy, do we get it with Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane. Part 1. The episode starts with the gang at the park having a good old time, harping back to what I love about the Russell T Davies era, just taking some time focusing on everyone living their normal life. Look, even Alan is showing off his skateboarding skills. Oh, what a man. Honestly, he is my favourite character in this series. I really hope he doesn't leave anytime soon. However, guys, something fishy's happening.
Somebody just walked over my grave.
Uh-oh, it's Sarah Jane Smith, man. So it's explained that there's this meteor heading towards Earth, and not even the government can see it. But luckily, Sarah and Mr. Smith here can stop it. Well, guys, I'm sure absolutely nothing is going to go wrong. What I really like about this sequence, though, is that Maria realises that Sarah Jane continuously saves the world with no one knowing, really showing us how important Sarah Jane is, and how heckin' humble she is. Sarah the goat. Sarah then follows this up by giving Maria a mysterious puzzle box that will protect her.
He said, remember. Just remember, whatever that means.
But later that night, the trickster is going for a leisurely stroll down Batman Road and decides to just get rid of Sarah Jane. He just gets rid of her. But luckily, because of this magic box, Maria is the only one who remembers her. This leads to the episode getting super spicy. Maria looks like she's going absolutely mental.
Where'd you get those plans from?
Hey? Oh, from Andrea.
Who's Andrea?
Who's
Don't be
Andrea?
daft, just sign it.
I'm going over the road to see Luke.
Oh, yeah? Luke's a lad from school, is it?
Shut up!
Uh-oh. What? Some woman named Andrea Yates is now living across the road and Sarah's just vanished.
You all right, love?
I think I speak for every Sarah Jane Adventures fan. This messed us up as kids. Maria is trying to convince everyone she's not mental, but Alan's forgotten, Clyde is forgotten, Luke doesn't even exist, and Andrea is over here scranning fruit.
Come on, lots to do.
Whatever. Mr. Smith, I need you.
Yeah, Maria, you've lost it, love. I'm not gonna lie. Maria tries to prove to Alan that Sarah Jane did exist.
Sarah Jane Smith, Guernsey women's football. Whoa. I gotta go back to that, sorry, that was... Sarah Jane Smith, Guernsey women's football. There must be...
Based Alan. Not a fan of the women's football. Maria discovers that Sarah Jane was actually game-ended in 1964, and her friend who was there was Andrea, the banana muncher. Oh my god, time has gone wrong.
And that's Sarah Jane's voice. It's her voice, can you hear her?
Yeah, Maria, you look completely mental.
Sweetheart, that's enough. I think I should take you to see a doctor.
Maria decides to go to Andrea's house to apologise to her. And by apologise, I mean absolutely interrogate her.
This isn't your house. This is some kind of time gone wrong. I'm gonna sort things out. I'm gonna work out how time...
Yes, Maria.
I'm gonna find...
Yes, Maria.
And nothing is gonna stop me.
Oh, Maria. Damn straight, Maria. This awakens something in Andrea, so she goes to her attic to confront the trickster. Ah, what is that? Where it's all revealed that Andrea agreed to swap places with Sarah to allow Sarah to be game-ended. What a bitch. Then just to top this off, Andrea then asks the trickster to make Maria disappear. Oh, she's done it again, the bitch. So how does the trickster do this? Well, he makes a grask appear to kidnap her. However, the trickster has made everyone forget Maria. Oh, this is so trippy, man. I love it. Luckily, Alan found Maria's box, so he's the only one who remembers. This is when he realises that Maria was telling the truth the whole time.
There is no Maria. Maria doesn't exist.
Maria escapes from the grask and ends up back in the 60s where she meets child Sarah Jane.
Pleased to meet you, Maria. I'm Sarah Jane Smith.
Damn. What a cliffhanger, guys. Oh my god. The performance from Yasmin Page is perfection. The story is super gripping. I like my Sarah Jane grippy, bro. The trickster is proper spooky. Alan is amazing in this episode. The cliffhanger is top notch. And all in all, this is a perfect Sarah Jane Adventures episode, alright? And that is why I'm putting it in perfect. And you know what? This episode has made me realise that I was way too generous with the Slaven first parter. So for the first time ever, I'm actually going to move that one down and put that in great. So yeah, let's get our facts straight here, guys. Oh man, does it lead us on to part 2? Whatever happened to Sarah Jane, part 2. Oh my god, get in my belly right now. Maria tries to convince young Sarah to not get herself game-ended, but of course, that doesn't work. And then she gets nabbed by the grask again. Maria gets sent into the White Abyss, where she finds Sarah. It seems that they're stuck in the same place that Squidward got stuck in. We then go back to Alan, who's still losing his marbles about Maria.
She's about that high, and she's got dark hair like me, and she's beautiful.
Are you getting some kind of a kick out of this?
The trickster then summons Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane Smith. Sarah Jane Smith. Sarah Jane Smith.
I'm being summoned.
The trickster explains that he altered history so that the meteor can smash up the earth because chaos is like super tasty. However, Sarah raises a very good point.
What about the Slaven and the Gorgons and the patriarchs of the Tin Vagabond? What happened to them?
I love that the writer took the time to answer that question so that we couldn't challenge it. The trickster explains that he turned them all away because they only invade for personal gain and profit and power. However, the trickster just wants to do it for the shits and giggles. That's pretty good writing, I can't lie. The trickster then explains that he wants to explore Sarah Jane further.
And I will explore your potential further.
This isn't Love Island, lad. but it's also that he could get to the Doctor to make sure that he doesn't exist, so that he can cause chaos throughout the galaxy. God damn, man, I love this show. Yum yum. So Andrea's having her birthday party where Clyde gets told to switch on the news.
Danny, are you serious?
The huge meteor, which was sighted at 2:15 this afternoon, is heading towards Earth at colossal speed.
The meteor is heading for Earth.
Meteor? It's all true.
I absolutely love these little impact zooms they do in this story. It really emphasises the character's realisation and makes me feel hella excited in a completely platonic way, obviously. Alan then decides to go and confront Andrea.
Now, I know about the accident. I know about this Sarah Jane.
So, what does Andrea do? Well, she takes him to the attic to explain what happened.
It was years ago. I was 13.
Okay, we don't need the whole story again. This is like the third time it's been told.
Then I went to the edge.
How did she fall? Oh, that's how she fell.
Andrea, you don't have to die. Let her die in your place.
I'm so gripped! I like my Sarah grippy, bruh.
My gift to you, Andrea.
Then she asked the trickster to get rid of him too. What? Listen, I understand the moral dilemma here for Andrea. She was a child and she was scared for her life, so she agreed with the trickster to swap places. Whilst it's selfish, I do think it's justifiable, and most of us as kids would probably do the same thing. However, then agreeing to get rid of Maria was a complete dick move. Then to do it a third time to Alan is absolutely outrageous, Andrea. Bad woman. The grass then appears and Alan makes a run for it.
Just ridiculous. I'm telling you, my ex-husband and a dwarf in a suit. Now I've seen it all.
Honestly, this show is unbelievably funny. Oh, and then Alan also just decks the grass with a skateboard.
I'm sorry, the missile strike has failed.
Holy shit, this is some scary stuff, guys. Alan somehow knows how to bring Maria back. So they realise that they need to go back to Sarah's attic to bring her back too. And after a long emotional debate,
I'm sorry, Andrea, but you were meant to die.
Andrea finally goes through her redemption era and agrees to break the deal with the trickster.
And you're free!
Hooray! Sarah and Luke are back and everyone remembers again. But wait! The meteor. The gang get up and they get Mr. Smith's juices flowing and he sends the meteor away. Heck yeah! I would ask how he did it, but they did actually take time to explain it in the first part, so I can't really fault it, despite it being completely unbelievable. And then just to top it off...
Aliens, monsters, supercomputers. Is anybody going to tell me what's going on? Come on, I need some answers.
Holy crud. What an ending. The cat is out of the bag. The stakes were high. There were some super emotional moments. This story is gripping from start to finish. The cliffhanger, again, was fantastic. How such a mentally draining episode can have some top-tier comedy in as well is a compliment to the writer. I absolutely love this story. It messed me up as a kid. It had me hooked as an adult. There is genuinely not one bad thing I can say to counter the fact that this episode is bloody perfect. This is the best story in the Sarah Jane Adventures so far, and from memory, I don't think there is one that is better, but I guess we'll find out. God damn, I absolutely love this show. This episode is going in perfect. You're probably thinking, well, after the last episode, they can't keep the quality up this strong, surely. Wrong. The Lost Boy Part 1, another episode that completely messed me up as a kid, because this one is dark. And about child abduction, funnily enough. Again, this series has a strange obsession with that concept. The episode picks up right where we left off, with Maria explaining her new alien hunting lifestyle to Alan.
Sarah Jane's computer. And which branch of PC World did that come from?
Honestly, Alan, same, mate, same. It's the series finale, so they use this conversation as a way to flash back to everything that's happened so far, so all the viewers understand what's happening. So Alan realises, you're never going to be seeing Sarah Jane again. Haha, punk. Of course, Maria then runs to Sarah to have a little cry about it, but Sarah is very understanding of Alan's point of view.
I know your father has a lot more to worry about than most dads. You can't blame him for wanting to keep you safe.
Tell him about the magic. How wonderful it is, the universe.
Perhaps it is.
That was a cool entrance, to be fair. After some extreme debating, please, Dad, please, poor pretty, please.
I've got a lot to get used to, haven't I?
Oh. Okay, that was pretty easy. We cut to this sad couple whose son has gone missing. Damn, how difficult.
Isn't that Luke?
It's Luke! The reaction from everyone is top tier. In all fairness as well, the explanation that it could be Luke is very believable. Even the explanation as to why the Bane would have removed his belly button.
In society, being egg-born, find the navel crude and offensive.
Maria's mum's reaction to the news, albeit hilarious, is so frustrating because in her head, it confirms her beliefs that Sarah is a wrong'un. So she calls the police. And I will say, the sequence in which the police get involved is really unsettling.
What have you done there? Leave her! Let's just stop her, please. Leave her!
Jesus, this was traumatising as a kid watching this. So Sarah Jane gets arrested, but because she has big friends up at unit, the police just let her go. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know the full ins and outs of the process that the police follow, but for a boy to go missing and it end up on national news, surely there would be a lot more investigation into this than just, right, you can go now, Sarah, don't do it again, you naughty girl. Luke's new parents bring him home, where it's revealed that they are Chelsea fans.
We've got Spurs on Wednesday, Ashley. Pizza and Cokes, watching a match. Come on, Lampard, eh?
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake, man. Of course he's a Chelsea supporter. And of course he loves Lampard. Who would ever do that? Come on, Lampard. I don't care what alien you are, my sunshine. You're all right in my book. Luke is uncomfortable, so he goes to bed. This is where we get the first sign that something is very, very wrong. Oh dear.
Psylocke, are you there? We've got the boy.
Okay, yeah, something's very, very wrong. Sarah is clearly grieving and tells Maria to piss off.
No, it's for the best. I'm not cut out for being a parent. I told you when we met. My life is dangerous. Oh, these past few months, I've just been lucky.
Sarah's grieving.
And you and Clyde should forget all about me and everything you've seen. Sometimes it's the only way to survive.
Sarah's grieving. She don't mean it, Maria. And this is a very sad scene because just as Sarah has gotten used to being a mum and adjusted to motherhood, it's just been stripped from her. And she has essentially gone right back to the Sarah Jane that we got at the start of the series.
Why did you lock my door? Well, you ran away once, remember?
Jesus, this is so unsettling. It's brilliant. However, Clyde is not convinced about all of the shenanigans, so he decides to pay Luke's parents a visit. There's this research facility that's working on telekinetic energy.
It's incredible. Oh, we're not done yet, Miss Smith. Oh, this is awesome.
I can do that. I'll tell you what, folks. I just said folks. I'll tell you what, folks. Telekinesis really takes it out of you, man.
Who developed it? Our child genius.
Who's the child genius?
You told her about Mitre? How stupid can you get?
Terrible child acting. It's so annoying because the child acting has been absolutely top tier this entire series.
I used to know someone your age who could wipe the floor with your intelligence, Nathan, and wipe the floor with you too.
Yeah, damn straight.
We gave him a skateboard. Good, was he, on a skateboard? Stunning.
This one sentence was enough to convince Clyde that this is a load of baloney.
Clyde! Clyde, up here! Clyde!
Luke, bang your window, man. Luke finds a way to escape from the bedroom.
What was that?
Jesus Christ, this scene stayed in my memory for years as a kid. This is where we get to the epic cliffhanger. Oh, snap, they're back. And it turns out that the kid is Carl, the child Slaven from the very first episode.
How you killed my family and left me locked in a sealed room to die.
Fuck's sake, man, why couldn't we just have the original kid? He was so much better than this dweeb. Sorry, I'm being mean. But that's not all. Clyde goes back to Mr. Smith to analyse a photo.
Oh, cool.
You have something for me?
Only I think it's a fake.
You're right, Clyde. It is fake. I faked it. More than you could ever imagine,
Whoa,
Clyde.
whoa. It's this episode he goes evil. Shit! Mate! Bane! I love this show. I love this show. Man, I've seen this show so many times. Granted, I haven't seen it in absolutely yonks, but Jesus Christ. It throws you in different directions, left, right, and centre. It throws you in different directions, left, right, and centre. Holy shit. I thought that was its whole own story. I thought that was like next season, or I thought that was like series 3 or something. I didn't know that was this soon. Holy guacamole, what an ending. This episode is emotional, disturbing, really unsettling, and as I've said multiple times, super, super grippy. I can't explain enough how much this episode stayed with me as a kid, and even watching it again now, it is equally as unsettling. You really notice the character development in this episode, seeing Sarah revert back to how she was before the series started, Clyde taking action and supporting his friend who he once thought was super cringe, and Maria, she was there too. But this episode will forever stay in my memory, and despite this irritating little shit, I am going to put this episode in perfect. The Lost Boy Part 2. I can't lie, this is one hilarious opening shot. So, Mr. Smith has convinced Sarah to steal one of them telekinetic headsets, and just when Sarah thinks she's escaped, she triggers the alarms. I'm sorry, what the fuck's going on? Who is that? Why was he on a motorbike? Where did he come from? Why was this even a thing?
Hope that didn't sting too much.
No, Sarah, don't do, no. Clyde is still inside Mr. Smith, cheeky boy. Maria is starting to get a little bit worried and thinks that Luke's new parents have done something to him, so her and Alan go to investigate.
They skinned someone. They're cannibals.
Oh, Alan. Bless his heart. Well, the cat is out of the bag. It's the Slaveens.
It will pass the last few hours before you all die.
Damn, you know what? I can't lie. Mr. Smith's evil voice is sexy.
I don't want you here.
They're not Luke's parents, they're Slaven.
Damn, that brought Sarah back to reality real quick. And now for the most memorable moment of the Sarah Jane adventures ever.
What are you doing here on a Saturday afternoon?
Was that really necessary? Could Nathan not have just said like, excuse me, I forgot to do some work and I've got to go back to my office, you silly stupid boy? That's pretty much how he works, isn't it? Either way, top quality acting from everyone involved. Well done.
Go? He'll be out cold for hours.
Clyde somehow starts messaging Alan's laptop to warn him about Mr. Smith. This just makes no sense. A little bit too convenient, in my opinion. Get down! Damn, what the hell is happening? We then get some backstory on Mr. Smith. Turns out he came from a crystal that was gifted to Sarah Jane, and he was like super smart and stuff. And the crystals told Sarah how to design the Mr. Smith we have today. Sarah then remembers that Slaveens like money, and Luke has an incredibly large brain, meaning that they can harvest the telekinetic energy from his big boy head and sell it on for profit. Luke's brain is getting sucked hard.
Look out! He's overloading the system!
Jesus, look, I know the budget is lower, but god damn, that is possibly the worst looking CGI in the whole of the Russell T Davies era. Luke manages to escape where we get more of that goofy looking Slaveen running.
Calcium acetic acid don't mix, trust me.
Sure, why not?
That one line right there is exactly why I absolutely love Alan. Honestly, you can imagine how fucking mental this seems to him.
I'm armed. What's going on?
Alan, I love you, man. Who the hell is moaning like that? Seriously. But guys, the plot thickens when it's revealed that Mr. Smith tricked the Slaveens. He needed them to kidnap Luke so the gang would go and look for him. But he knew that Luke would escape and go straight back to Sarah's house, where Mr. Smith can harness the telekinetic energy himself.
Put it on or I will kill him.
But you're
running out of time and patience.
But why is Mr. Smith doing this? He was such a good guy. Well, it's because he wants to bring the moon to the Earth so it rips apart the planet, because there's crystals buried buried deep in the crust that are part of his species, and he just wants to free them all. Bless his little heart. But seriously, guys, the moon is getting really bloody close. Look at the size of it, Jesus. There's footage of the worldwide damage this is causing. Seriously, this series has made some seriously catastrophic events happen. But luckily, out of pure convenience, Alan works in IT and knows a super strong killer virus that can stop him. Mr. Smith then releases Clyde, then tries to game end them all.
Well, meet my dog. Hang on, protect me. Maximum defense mode.
Hell yeah, this is epic! They install the virus onto Mr. Smith and they make him have a new purpose: to protect the Earth.
Your purpose is to save the Earth, Mr. Smith.
I have a purpose. Thank you, Sarah Jane.
Wow, guys, the day is saved. And the moon just gets put right back where it was. I really don't think that's how the moon works, but sure. The ending shows the gang hugging it out in the front garden as we close the series with a happy little crane shot. Goodbye, everyone. Wow. Yeah, that was a tad rushed, that ending. So, the Slavenes still look pretty naff, and this child actor is seriously annoying. I hope he never comes back. I hope that's the end of him. This particular episode relied on convenience a bit too much with the way that Clyde was able to message Alan's computer, and Alan happening to know a contact to get this super virus. However, evil Mr. Smith, the overall harrowing story of Luke's abduction, every character had a purpose in this episode, and there's nothing I like more than when all characters are being utilised to their strengths, and there's Alan being my favourite overall character. Love him. It is a very good ending, and the story as a whole bumps this episode, I think, so I'm going to be putting this episode in great. This series, we've had a hell of a lot of kidnapping and child abduction. We've had the sun going out, a meteor heading towards the planet, and the moon coming out of orbit to destroy the world. Jesus, Ealing has it all, man. There has no doubt been serious worldwide consequences caused by the events on Badaman Man Road. But Sarah and the gang have saved the Earth every single time. God damn, this series is so strong. Whether it's genuinely scary, unnerving, or unsettling, it can also be proper fun with some proper goofy moments for the kids too. This show is so funny. It's completely underrated. It's so funny. And over the course of the series, there is not one character who I don't like, even Maria's mum. She's just too hilarious. The series focuses on Luke being different, Sarah embracing motherhood, Clyde changing from class clown to someone who wants to be a better person and help everyone else, Alan and Chrissy's fractured relationship and their divorce, and Maria, whose life changed because of Sarah Jane. Just a tip-top first series for a kids show, and a brilliant instalment in the Doctor Who universe. So here's my final verdict for the show. Let me know your opinions. I have thoroughly enjoyed rewatching this series, and I'm super duper excited to get to the next one. It definitely has some questionable moments, but again, it is really hard to criticise when it's no doubt bound to an extreme amount of restrictions and limitations, as well as having a significantly lower budget than Doctor Who. The Sarah Jane Adventures truly mastered the art of introducing Sarah Jane to a whole new generation, and that is something that pretty much no other TV show could do. And that in itself is how powerful and influential Doctor Who is. Guys, I'm going to be taking a break from Sarah Jane as I'm going to start working on my Torchwood Series 1 review. Hooray! Some good news for those of you that have been waiting so long. After that, I will return for more Sarah Jane Adventures, as well as the upcoming season of Doctor Who. If you wish to see all of my reactions to the Sarah Jane Adventures, where I do give more insight, you can click the link in the description to my second channel, DTDW Reacts. I thank all of you for your continued support, and of course, my wonderful channel members who have helped me as well. You are all greatly, greatly appreciated. Please feel free to subscribe if you want more content like this, and of course hit that bell so that you don't miss the next review video. And other than that, guys, I will see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.